Hello, and welcome to Coffee Con 2. This is, as of recording, the second episode, the show where I, Alex, read spooky supernatural stories to my co host, Sarah, all while we enjoy a cup of coffee. The premise is simple. I'll read some stories, and Sarah will guess if they were written by a human or ChatGPT. If it's by a human, we'll take it a step further and guess whether they claim it to be a true story or purely fictional. Before we dive into the scares, let's talk about coffee. Today, we are sipping on an iced latte for Sarah and an iced Americano for myself. I got this from the People Coffee at the Homa Hotel in Phuket, Bangtao, Thailand. Sarah, hi.
Very excited. Hi, welcome back to episode two.
Nice. Do you like your coffee?
So I've had a sip so far. It's for some context, it's 3 p.m. In Phuket right now, and so we've both decided to have some decaf coffee, which I think is a smart move. Yeah, so I'm having an iced latte. It's doing its job. It's making me feel like I'm sipping on a nice caffeinated cappuccino or coffee, but so far I think it's not going to give me a buzz, which is good.
Nice, awesome. Actually, so my coffee, I preferred this more than the one that we had at the previous round because if you remember, I didn't like my coffee too acidic, citrusy, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This is significantly smoother. Something about coffee, though, a lot of my more expert coffee drinking friends will say that decaf coffee tastes different from a caffeinated coffee. Do you find that to be the case? I can never tell the
To be
difference.
honest, I'm with you. I can't really tell. I think they do really convincing, even like Nescafe capsules. And to be very honest, especially if you drink your coffee with milk like I do, you cannot really tell the difference. Also, one thing I've learned is that apparently decaf coffee still has some degree of caffeine, so it's not
Mm.
completely decaffeinated. There is a little bit of caffeine, but it's a
I guess the
low
dosage
dose.
itself is to the point whereby it's probably what they call negligible.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
So they do recommend not drinking decaf coffee at night,
Mm.
which my husband has taken to doing quite often. He thinks it's his way around, getting a coffee at night, and then we're like, okay, you're not sleeping by midnight. It clearly is doing its
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool. Well, I guess from a coffee perspective, we are both pretty happy with our coffee
super.
today. Hopefully, we also have a better night's sleep because the
Mm-hmm.
last time you had this
Oh
a
gosh.
coffee caffeinated coffee,
Yeah.
you weren't having a very good day.
I had the worst caffeine crash. The best spike that lasted me through our first episode while I was hearing all the horror stories from you. And then the minute it all ended, I was like, oh no, I feel really jittery. So the decaf is a smart move.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I gotta say though, the last time that we had the caffeinated coffee and you were interacting with me, I couldn't tell that you were going on a downward crash because you presented yourself so well and
Thank
so
you.
professionally, even though this is supposed to be a very casual setting, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the way
yeah.
that you were presenting yourself, it was great, it was awesome, and I
Yeah.
really appreciated that.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I held it together just for those horror stories you gave me, Alex.
Okay, yep. All right, so that's that on the coffee side. Before I get into the story, I just wanted to maybe inquire a little bit more about the having a little bit more of a conversation before I go
Mm-hmm.
into the coffee. Oh, sorry, the story. Coffee. It's not even caffeinated, and
Maybe that's why.
yeah, true, maybe. But then
Yeah.
again, I already had three coffee before
Oh
this,
gosh. And
so
it's your fourth.
this is my fourth, but it's
Ooh, okay, it's a
decaf
decaf.
one.
Okay,
So,
that's
yep.
that's fine.
Okay. When we are consuming horror stories, supernatural
Mm,
stories, and films and literature and things like that, we both liked it a lot.
yeah.
But maybe just taking a step back away and just talk about entertainment consumption in general. Do you consume entertainment to enrich yourself or to escape?
Hmm. Good question. I will say, uh, I will say a bit of both, leaning more towards the enrich aspect. I have recently started getting into quite a bit of sci-fi and fantasy, which I think belongs in the realm or the bucket of, films that you escape into. But for the most part, I really gravitate towards movies that have some sort of, I don't know, not necessarily lesson, but sort of enriches my perspective in some way or the other, or present a completely different perspective that I can
Mm,
sort of take away from.
mm,
So for instance, I love watching a lot of like indie films. Me and my partner, we've been loving Korean cinema. It's always sort of very touching on the themes of familial love and piety and fate. And I don't know. I think I always look for movies that have some sort of alignment and parallel to maybe something I'm exploring mentally
Right.
in a period of my life.
Mm.
But it is also nice when movies can offer that escape route at the
Yep.
same time.
Yep.
But I will say I'm leaning more, it's a bit of both, but leaning more towards the enriched portion. Yeah.
Gotcha.
What about
I
you?
guess for myself, I'm more towards the escape side of things.
Mm-hmm.
But when you put it out in a way of enriching from a family and love perspective,
Mm.
I initially would have bucketed that into the escape side of things. When I said
Oh,
enrich, I was thinking more towards like those self-help books, those business books, those kind
gotcha.
of stuff where,
Mm.
our friends, Thomas and Sabrina, they would
Mm.
be showing us books and videos and
Mm.
films around how do you unstuck yourself from the rut of things? How do you be a
Mm.
better communicator? How do you
Mm.
be a better negotiator and things like that? Those to me are the enriching set of things. And when I consume entertainment,
Mm.
this is gonna make me sound like a dumbass, but I don't enrich myself in that manner. Occasionally I do.
Mm.
For example, books from like Simon Sinek and Adam Grant, which are the two most famous authors I can think of right now,
Mhm.
they are enriching books. But I
Mm.
would also mostly dive myself into the likes of like the Dan Browns, the J.K. Rowling, the
Mm.
Hunger Games uh, series and things like that. So
Mm.
that's how I consume my entertainment. And I
Mm.
think maybe that's also why horror movie to me just appeals to me so much
Mm.
because it's a bit of an escapism for
Yeah.
myself.
I mean, it's like hyper reality, right? Like a lot of the genres. Does it differ for you in terms of like the books you read or the movies? Do you like fantasy and escapism in both?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I
Nice,
do.
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, that's a little bit of you and I that we know about each other, and hopefully
Mm.
the listener also get to know us a little bit more.
Yeah.
Getting into the stories. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a cup of coffee, and enjoy.
Ready.
Now, today, three stories as usual. I'm putting this to you first and see how you like it. Shall we switch up the format just a little bit?
Ooh, okay.
Instead of me reading to you each story and you guess whether that story is true or false,
Yeah.
let me read all the three stories to you. Towards the end,
Mm.
you guess which one is human or ChatGPT.
Yes.
And I'll make it slightly easier for you.
How so?
Two truth, one lie.
Ah, so there's two truths,
Two humans,
two
one
humans.
ChatGPT.
Ah,
Shall we do
okay.
that?
Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm ready.
You're ready?
I think.
Okay, cool. The first story. This story is written almost like a transcript, but there are definitely descriptors in between. So I'll just read it out to you. James Shipton had heard all the stories before. As a historian and former duty manager at the Hydro Majestic in the Blue Mountains, he read numerous accounts of the historic hotel being haunted and had taken thousands of people on tours of the building. But he's never spoken about his own encounters with the hotel's uninvited guests until now. Shipton opens up to one of the journalists one of the author who is writing a new book, and he tells of his first encounter 5 years ago when he was just 3 months into his job. Now, this is where the transcripts sort of started. I started my shift at 3 p.m. and did the rounds as usual, Mr. Shipton told Mr. Phelps. Mr. Phelps being the author.
Mhm.
I noticed we were running low on milk in the Belgravia lounge, so I started toward the kitchen to get more. It's about 150-meter walk to the kitchen via the hotel's casino, pavilion bar, and an area known as Cat's Alley.
Mm.
I was the only person in that section of the hotel, Mr. Shipton recalled. It was a weekday, so everything apart from the lounge was closed. As he entered Cat's Alley, he heard squeaking of the floorboards beneath his feet. But it's what he heard next that left his heart pounding. I heard a woman whisper something into my ear. It was loud, like she was standing behind me, but I couldn't understand what she said. Mr. Shipton figured it must be a guest who gotten lost. I spun around, ready to give her direction, but no one was there. and my heart began pounding, like full-on palpitations. I couldn't see anyone, but I knew I wasn't alone. The 41-year-old said in the interview that he couldn't make out what the voice said, but said the sound was whispered into his right ear. It wasn't long before Mr. Shipton had another strange encounter, again in the area known as Cat's Alley. It had been a quiet night, he recalled, and the few people staying in the hotel had all left the lounge at 8 p.m. to go to bed. I closed everything up, grabbed the cash till, and headed towards the office. And the moment I stepped into Cat's Alley, I was overwhelmed by the smell of perfume. It just hit me like a slap in the face. Strong, floral, it was like somebody just sprayed it in the air. And then suddenly, I heard footsteps. It was then that Mr. Shipton learned about the legend of room 311. It was right above the area of his two encounters, and the ghost said to haunt the room. A chef working at the hotel told Mr. Shipton the story of a former worker who stayed in that room as part of staff accommodation. Fleeing in fear after seeing a ghost, it was a chance encounter that former employee confirmed it happened. Transcript: he had felt a presence as soon as he began staying in that room, Mr. Shipton said. And on a couple of occasions when he woke up, he thought a lady on the left side of the bed was looking down at him.
Oh God, not a lady at the left side.
By the bed. By the bed.
By the
It was-
bed.
oh my God.
This is
yeah.
calling to mind, sorry, like the Shining meets Haunting of
Hill
Hill
House?
House. That's the vision I'm getting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's in a hotel.
Yeah.
By the name of it, Hydro Majestic, it's also giving me the kind of like shining
Old mansion,
yeah,
big
kind of
estate, yeah.
feeling. Yep. All right. So, lady on the left side of the bed, but this was more like the way that it's written. It sounded like more like a peripheral vision kind of thing. So, okay, I'm gonna continue the story here. He was very uncomfortable, but decided putting it up with it was better than asking for a new room and explaining why he wanted to be moved. But all that changed the night he was attacked. Shipton recalled how the former employee told him he was slapped across the face by something unseen. There's a lot of slapping of faces. First one slapped by perfume, second one is slapped by something unseen.
This author likes a slap, or maybe AI author, I don't know.
He said it was so hard that it brought tears to his eyes, Mr. Shipton told Phelps. He was trying to figure out what happened when a lady suddenly appeared in front of his face. She then grabbed his neck and started strangling him. He freaked out and fled the room, and never set foot into room 311 again. When the room was eventually opened to paying guests, I'm not sure if that's a good idea from the hotel side of things.
Right, yes.
But when the room was eventually opened up to paying guests, one female guest fled the room, claiming the bathroom taps had turned on by themselves. The cleaner went in to investigate. The bath was overflowing and water was coming down the wall. After doing his own research, Mr. Shipton strongly believed the ghost haunting from 311 is that of a former employee named June Clemenger, 21 years old, who was murdered by her jealous lover in 1938. End of story. Yeah. So a hotel, I don't know how old this hotel is. It
Clearly
sounded-
quite old if there was a case, there was a scorn lover murdering his lover
1938.
in 1930s.
Yeah. But then again, a lot of hotels can be old but new at the same time. It's like the building itself is old,
Yeah.
but they probably were bought over by whatever this kind of stuff, rebranded,
Yeah.
refurbished, etc. Like I wouldn't call that old.
Yeah,
old
yeah.
thing.
So many hotels in Europe are very old. Like at least, well, I mean, old by Singaporean standards, but like at least a few hundred years old.
Yeah, yeah.
And then goes past through a few owners. Okay, I have my thoughts on whether I think this is real or not, but I'll save it for the end.
Okay, but run me through what do you think of this story, where you're coming from. Don't need to guess right now, but maybe just like let's talk things through a little bit here.
Yeah. So I think this is probably, of all the stories we've read so far, has the most physical encounter. The ones from the earlier episode were more so presence or a vision, or there was sort of no physical encountering. Whereas this one,
The
there's,
black-eyed children was physical though.
I mean, but they didn't do anything to
right,
the
right. You're
protagonist,
talking
right?
about
Yeah,
the
like a
physical
physical
aspect.
assault.
Yeah.
This is probably the most sort of like a physical one, which is interesting because I think I don't know about you, but if you watch most horror shows, I tend to find the haunting is more of like the sinister presence and chronic disturbance versus like actual
It's
assault.
more emotional and mental assault rather than
Yes,
physical
yes,
assault.
yes. So this makes me feel, I don't know. I don't know. It kind of makes the haunting a little bit less scary, if I'm honest. I don't know, because like I think what's scary about horror is that there is a presence you can't see, but
Hmm.
sustains, its presence in
Yep,
spite of,
yep, yep, yep.
Yeah. Okay, I
Okay,
have my
cool.
thoughts, but yeah.
Great. Now to the next story. Remember, I always find stories that has very, very different style of writing. Today have three different styles of writing. The first one is a little
Mm,
bit more transcript.
yeah.
This second one is more of a forum thread.
Okay.
Yeah. So I pull this out. It's in the form of a forum.
So you're
So
telling me then that it's a human written story?
I didn't say anything.
You
Uh,
just said it.
but the reason why I'm saying this is because the way that it's written, it feels like it's not an article, it's not whatever not, it just feels like a forum,
Like a more conversational
a little bit
style.
here and
Okay.
there. There's a lot of posts. I'll probably contract some of the posts because they all seem to be saying somewhat of the same things.
Mm,
But the main user who made this post, I will read out their statement. So
mm,
the username is Esther5000S or 5000s. I don't
mm.
know. I'm going to just call this user Esther from here on. I'm starting now. This is the first post. Hey everyone, I need. Oh, sorry, there's a thread title. Roommate
Mm,
acting weird. Advice, please. This is where the whole rental thing is coming into play.
mm.
So Esther, in her first post, said, "Hey everyone, I need some perspective on the situation with my roommates. For context, I've always lived with my family, but recently moved out and started living with two friends, Emily and Sarah, in a rental house. I've known Emily for a few years first, and then got to know Sarah through Emily.
Oh dear, not Sarah.
We've always gotten along fine." Oh, wait, Sarah,
I
Sarah. Sorry, I
know.
just realized that. Yeah,
I hope
sorry.
she's not the creepy one in the story.
Let me continue. Uh, we've always gotten along fine, as in Esther,
Esther
Sarah,
and
and
Sarah.
Emily. But lately, Emily and Sarah have been acting strange toward each other.
Oh.
It started small. Emily would complain that Sarah was keeping her up at night,
Oh.
pacing around the house. The weird part, Sarah swears she's been asleep during those times. Last week, Emily claimed she woke up and saw Sarah just standing in her doorway.
I'm sorry. That is scary.
So we are getting to the point where Sarah is like scary.
Sarah's a psycho.
Yeah. So Emily says that she saw Sarah just standing in her doorway, and Sarah insists she wasn't even in Emily's room. I think just based off these premises, it sounded like they had each their own room. No one was
Yeah,
like actually
yeah, yeah,
roommates. It's
yeah.
more like housemates.
Yeah.
I asked Sarah about it privately, and she seemed genuinely upset, almost scared.
Mm,
But Emily's been getting more paranoid. She even brought up getting locks for our bedroom doors now that the tension in the house is unbearable.
mm,
What do I do here? I don't want to take sides, but I'm starting to feel uneasy too. So that's the end of the first post. The next posts are coming from a few users. The first one is like uh, from a user. I don't know if you want me to read out all the usernames. I don't know whether
Sure.
this would be
Read out the
crucial to you, but
usernames. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm going to just try and read this as fast as possible. The first one is moped crux.
Mm.
That sounds intense. Are you sure it's not sleepwalking? Maybe Sarah doesn't realize she's doing it. Then the other one is Ray Suvkaf.
Mm.
Sorry if I'm butchering the names. Yeah, sleepwalking can be really weird. But if Emily is that freaked out, maybe you guys should sit down and have a talk as a group. Then the next guy, probably is a troll. LL, scary, steady head. It's
Mm.
probably nothing. You're just being dramatic. And then another one is, if it's really bothering you, maybe you just go back and live with your parents. Like if Emily and Sarah has been together for a little while, maybe you are the problem.
Mm.
Those are some of the comments coming from the users, and then there's more
Mm.
like LL, whatever, and things like that. Then about 1.5 months later, Esther provided an update, and the post now read. Sorry, before I go into this one, have you rented with roommates and housemates before?
No, I've not. I have stayed with housemates before when I was me and my husband were dating. He had a bunch of housemates, so I personally never rented, but I ended up moving in. And so yeah, I'm glad I've never had an encounter like Emily, Sarah, and Esther, but I've heard a lot of stories from friends though of like housemate stories go really wrong. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously no sleepwalking incidences, but there's a lot of like toxic behavior that can
Yep,
happen when
yep.
people live together.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So,
I guess also maybe just for any listeners who might be different from our culture,
mm,
in Singapore, we don't typically move out at 18 years old and start renting our own place. We usually stay
mm,
with our parents or until we get married or have a partner before we eventually moved out. So
yeah.
for myself, I've personally never rented a place before. I just went straight from living with my parents,
Mm,
and then boom, straight I have my own place. So
mm,
that's
lucky you.
okay. Anyway, back to the story. So just to recap, Esther posted this 1.5 months after the first post. Sorry, I disappeared for a bit. Things have been strange. Emily moved out about a week after my post. It was super sudden. She just said she couldn't stay here anymore. I think she and Sarah must have had some kind of argument, but neither of them would want to tell me what happened. Since then, I started noticing things myself. For example, a few nights ago, I woke up and saw Sarah now standing in my doorway.
Oh,
She
oh.
wasn't moving, just standing there, staring. I called out her name, she didn't respond, but after a few seconds, she turned around and went back to her room.
Mm,
The next day, I asked her about it. She looked confused and she said it must be sleepwalking.
mm,
She apologized, but seemed really embarrassed.
mm,
It has been awkward ever since. I want to believe it's just sleepwalking, but just for my own peace of mind, I got that door lock and started to lock my bedroom door at night.
mm,
Then last night, I woke up to the sound of my doorknob rattling.
mm.
It wasn't loud, it was a soft, deliberate twist. Like someone was testing it.
Oh God. Oh, it's the
It
worst.
stopped
That's
after a
actually
few
scary.
seconds, and I heard thin footsteps walking away. I haven't confronted Sarah about it yet. I don't even know if I should, but I can't shake this weird, uneasy feeling whenever I'm around her. Am I overthinking this? Now, the follow up from those from other users again is like that's really terrifying. Even if it's sleepwalking, that's too close for comfort. Maybe you should stay somewhere else for a while. There are also users who is saying that they read stories about how there are sleepwalking serial killers, so maybe just be careful about it. Door not rattling. Okay, I think this is the same guy who was supposed to calling the person the calling as a scaredy cat. LL, this is not the no sleep subreddit. What are you talking about?
Mm,
Now, this is the last post from Esther.
mm.
It's been a while. I just want to update you all. I don't think Sarah is Sarah anymore. That's it. That's the post.
Oh, okay.
Following that, I think there are a few more users who was like, "What do you mean? Are you okay? Hello, update." OP never posted again, and the last date of this post was 17 October 2016.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, if AI generated that, that's a very convincing replication of replication, is that a word? Replicate of a Reddit thread.
Yep.
So good job. But also the OP posting that way and ending it with simply Sarah is not Sarah. It feels a bit too dramatic. Like if you were already offering so much detail in the beginning, why wouldn't you give an update? Like that felt like it was done for
Mm.
dramatic impact or a literary flair.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my gut, okay, I'll save my response for the end, but I have my suspicions. This is scarier than the first one. I think because I don't know, it's just people, the idea of
Mm.
someone staring at you when you're in your bedroom, it hints at like an assault, but not directly doing anything about it. It really creeps me out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh, this is my own experience.
yeah.
I do that
Stare at
sometimes.
people.
No, no, not stare at people. Okay, this was when I was really
God.
young as a kid.
Okay.
I was really young as a kid. My parents had their own room. I had
Mm,
my own room.
mm,
I sometimes will get nightmares. And I will just get up, but I don't dare to just climb into their bed or things like that. So I just stood at their doorway,
Oh my
kind of
goodness.
hoping that they will wake up.
Oh dear.
And now I'm thinking back, I'm like, I'm a scary
That if
little
I had a
kid.
child like that, I would be like, nope, 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 nope,
No,
nope.
we have ground rules, Alex.
Exactly. You either sleep or you come and wake me up. Don't stand at the door staring at me.
Yep, yep. Okay, so you find that this is scarier than the first one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, also, I think the idea, a hotel versus a home. Hotel, obviously, that's not your place of sanctuary, but something about being in your home and being with roommates that's it's a relationship that you kind of have a high trust with. The idea of that figure being someone that could potentially threaten you physically, mentally in your own space, it's quite harrowing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think if you notice a lot of horror movies, their haunted house trope is always, it's always a symbol, right? Because the house stands for safety, sanctuary, and when it's violated by a spirit or presence, it kind of encroaches on our
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
feeling of
Which
safety.
is very
Yeah.
aligned with what we mentioned in the first episode. We're talking about how children and images of like innocence when they get
Yeah.
corrupted and evil is just that much more creepy. Like,
Yeah,
a cute
exactly.
doll suddenly coming to life and
Yeah,
start
yeah.
slaughtering people. It's unnerving.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was story 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now the third one, which is the last one.
Mm-hmm.
This is written in. This is more of a. So the first one was transcript. Second was forum. This third one was written in the style of a news journal, an article. Yep. All right, I'm gonna start now. John and Florence Pollock, the parents of the Pollock twins, were a young couple who lived in Hexham, a small town in, pardon me if I butcher this name, Northumberland, England.
Oh.
Yep. Their family consists of 2 daughters, Joanna and Jacqueline, who were 11 and 6 years old, respectively. On May 5th, 1957, tragedy struck the family. So just bear in mind, this is quite a while ago. Tragedy struck the family when their car collided with a truck on their way back from church. Both the girls were killed instantly, leaving their parents shattered and devastated. After the tragedy, Florence became pregnant again, and the couple welcomed 2 more daughters, Gillian and Jennifer, in October 1958. So that's about May 5th, about 1.5 years after the tragedy, then. So the arrival of the twins brought hope and joy to the grieving family. But soon after their birth, they began to notice strange things about the twins. The family noticed that the twins had unusual behaviors that mirrored their deceased sisters. The parents noticed that the twins played with the same toys that their deceased sisters had played with, like dolls and other toys. Gillian, the elder twin, would often talk about things that only Joanna would have known. So Joanna is the older sister.
The older.
Yep.
The one that perished?
Yes, correct. So the one that perished is Joanna and Jacqueline. And then there's the new twin that came. It will be Gillian and Jennifer. Yep. So yeah, Gillian, the elder twin, so it's the twin now, would talk about things that only Joanna would have known. For instance, she would describe her former bedroom in great detail, despite having never seen it before. Gillian would also point out landmarks and places that her sisters used to frequent, despite having never been there before. As the twin grew up, they became more vocal about their memories of their deceased sisters. They would often refer to things that they had never been told about, such as events that had happened before they were born. For instance, they would talk about a trip to the beach that their parents had taken Joanna and Jacqueline, even though the twins had never been to the beach before. So, just digressing a bit, this sounds like a reincarnation story.
Yeah.
Or maybe memory passed down or whatever. Let's just read it through first. The parents were understandably alarmed by their daughter's strange behaviors and sought help from the medical community. They took the twins to several psychologists and psychiatrists, but none of them could explain what was happening. In fact, some of the doctors dismissed the parents' concern and suggest that the girls were simply making things up. Despite the skepticism of the medical community, the Pollocks were convinced that their daughters were telling the truth. They decided to conduct their own investigation into the matter. They interviewed family members, friends, and even the girls' former teachers to see if they could find any evidence to support the twins' claims. Their investigation turned up some fascinating results. For instance, they discovered that Joanna and Jacqueline had a favorite toy, which is a dollhouse, which they had played with for hours on end.
And this was in the school.
Yes, correct. Yes, correct. The family had given away the. Oh no, sorry. This is back in the house. I guess they knew about this favorite toy probably from
The
friends or
teacher-student
staff, the
interactions.
teacher-student. Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
okay.
So the family had given the toy away after the girl's death, like Joanna and Jacqueline's death, but the new owner had returned it after finding it too painful a reminder.
Ooh.
The doll's house was given to the twins, who immediately recognized it and began playing with it. They even knew the names of the dolls that their sisters had used to play with. The family also found a box of toys that belonged to Joanna and Jacqueline. The toys had been stored away in the attic, and the twins had never seen them before. But when the box was opened, the girls recognized many of the toys and began playing with them. They even knew the names of some of the toys that was given to their sisters. That the sisters had given to them. Could this be a real life incarnation story? End of story. Less spooky,
Interesting.
more
More.
supernatural.
Yes, exactly. Wow. What a sad story if this is true. To lose a child or two children and then have to deal with potentially the souls lingering
Yeah. And
or
like,
reincarnating.
yeah. I feel like if I'm not a parent, but if I'm a parent and I lost my kid, they will never be replaceable. The memory will always be there.
Yeah.
But when a new one come about, it brings some sort of a refresh.
Yeah.
If let's say this refresh suddenly started becoming a digging out of the past memories,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to live with that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. So that was the story. Maybe just a segue.
Yes.
What do you think of reincarnation?
Reincarnation. It's one of those things where I like the idea. I like the premise of it. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I know like in certain faiths where they believe in reincarnation, like Buddhism, for instance, you essentially there's sort of tiers, right? To if you do well in a certain life, you get reincarnated into a better exactly. And then also there are certain themes of like you keep reincarnating into a certain scenario up until you learn your lesson that you need to learn. I think
that sounds like hell.
yeah. So there's a lot of that kind of themes around it. I don't know. I've actually went to see an energy reader before in Bali, and she told me that I was reincarnated from a very old soul, and I don't know. I like that. If I had to be reincarnated from a soul, I would love it to be an ancient soul, but I don't know. I like the idea of it. The idea that there is some sort of eternity to your life if you are reborn again and again.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of those things where there's sort of no psychological proof.
Also kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call you an also. You're a very free-spirited soul. I think I would not use the word "old" to describe you in any way.
Oh well, I thank you. I think there's a part of me that is a bit old soul-y. I don't necessarily show it necessarily to people because it's I'm like a inner grandma that I don't really show. But yeah, I do feel like I'm a bit of a free spirit, and I don't know what she meant by that. She was just apparently saying that, oh, this soul that I had was very charitable, did a lot of good, and so she was saying that in my life, I need to find that similar sense of meaning of like altruism, because apparently that's something that was really important to this soul of mine. Don't know what truth there is to that. I feel like she was just trying to tell me what I wanted to hear, you know. So yeah, the idea of it I like, but again, it's all those things where you can't prove or disprove, like what we're talking about now, like, spirits and all that. Do you believe in it? As a Christian, it's not a concept, right?
It's not a concept.
Yeah.
We believe in entering the eternal kingdom,
Yes.
which is the afterlife, but it's not a reincarnation. So that's something that I don't believe in personally. We'll just keep it there because I don't want this to go too much into like the Christian religion kind of stuff. So I'm going to just say that and
yes,
no. Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. So that were all the 3 stories. Just as a very quick recap, the first one was a transcript of Mr. Shipton in the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Second one is of Esther relating her story on a forum. And the last one is of the Pollock family and the reincarnation. Three stories. Two truth, one lie. Well, two humans, one ChatGPT.
Yeah. Well, first off, Alex, I will have to applaud you for today's curation. Like three very different story styles, themes, narratives, completely different. Like so, good job on really having a diverse lineup of stories. Can't be easy in the world of horror. It's always, I think, the same kind of horror. So yeah, we'll start there. Okay, so in terms of what I think is a human written piece, the first one and the third one has, I think, a similar sort of story style, right? In the sense of it's a story. It's not like a forum, kind of written in the third person. It feels like what I would think of if you were to write a horror fiction in third person. Also, I felt like it wouldn't be something AI generates because I tend to find that AI is very flowery in its language, whereas story one and story three is quite the prose is quite simple and it's straight to the point. There's not a lot of like, this happened third to whatever, you know?
Yep.
So my gut instinct tells me that one and three are human generated.
Okay.
And I think number two is a damn good replica or generation of a Reddit thread by AI. You know what? I would have believed that number two was an actual forum post if the ending by the OP wasn't so abrupt. Like that person was either A, trolling an entire thread by luring people onto this rabbit hole of story. That's very possible.
Yep.
Or B, it felt like I feel like AI could do that. You know, give you a format that feels quite believable. So yeah, that's my guess. I feel like that one's the AI generated one.
Okay, so your answer.
Yes.
The first one, the interview with Mr. Shipton is human.
Human.
Second, with Esther, is ChatGPT. And the last one with the Pollock family would be real human.
Yes.
Congratulations, you're right.
Oh my god, yes!
Absolutely correct.
So I either get 0 or 3 out of 3. I don't know any middle ground.
Your first episode, you got everything
Everything
right.
wrong,
You got
everything right.
Right.
Ding ding ding
Yeah.
ding ding.
Okay. Now to take it just a step further, the two real humans one. Do you think they were fictional stories or do you think they were real stories?
That's the thing. Story one feels like a real story because the details aren't super over embellished in a way. It feels like I was gonna say a realistic horror. It feels like something that could happen just based on anecdotal stories I hear from people experiencing supernatural stuff. The third one feels like a pretty good piece of fiction. I mean, I feel bad saying it if it was a true story, but I mean, I feel the odds of losing two children and getting twins and then the layer of reincarnation. There's a lot of like things that I don't necessarily believe have all happening at the same time happening in that story. So my guess is that's fiction.
Okay, so the Shipton transcript is
real.
And then the Pollock family is a fiction.
Yeah.
Right. So for the transcript first, it is a true story.
Okay.
You're correct.
Yeah.
And it's even published as an official article on news.com.au.
Oh.
Yeah. So this was publicly published.
Wow.
The Hydro Majestic Hotel, which is in the Blue Mountains, Sydney, New South Wales.
That's a real one?
Yes, it's a real place.
Damn.
Yes. So if you ever really want something,
visit that hotel, Agoda, hit up Agoda.
There's so many haunted hotels.
Alex, 2025, travel end of year, New Year's Eve, let's go.
Look, if this do well and we get funded, we can actually go. You know what? So yeah, okay. So that's the first one, and that is real. The next one, the Pollock story, you were saying that it's a very well written fiction. It's a true story.
Oh, that makes me sad.
It is a very, very true story with multiple articles written all over the place. This specific story, I extracted it from vocal.media/journal. It's written pretty well in a way that allows me to be able to read things through quite well. And what is that called? The investigator that there was just a last portion that I didn't read out because we have given it away. But The case of the Pollock twins gained national attention in the UK and soon became subject of international interest. There were proper investigation that was being put out. As of today, there's definitely still that split between people thinking it's a hoax and people thinking that reincarnation is real. But this is a real, true article that I extracted and I just read it out to you.
So the family existed,
Yes,
and they did lose two girls, and they
did.
did have twins that were weirdly knowledgeable about
Yes.
their deceased sisters.
yes, that's
Wow.
right. The weird and wonderful world we live in.
I know, but oh my God, this is like it's sad, no, this story. Yeah.
It is.
Oh, now I need to go in the Pollock twins rabbit hole. You know, now that I think about it, I feel like I've heard it before. Not the story per se, but I've heard of the Pollock twins. I think there was a few YouTube channels that go into this conspiracy content of like unsolved mysteries and all that. And I feel I've seen a thumbnail about that. I don't
Right.
know. Maybe it just sounded familiar.
Yeah. So that was 3 stories today that I read. 2 real stories, 1 fake stories, obviously. In the first episode we did this. Maybe
Yeah.
let's just do this again as well. Is ranking in terms of spooky.
Ooh. I think 2 and 3 is tied for sure. 2, which is I remember in the first episode, I didn't feel like AI could generate true horror. And actually, this time around, because I think it was styled like a real Reddit thread, and there was that build up, it felt quite believably scary. So I will say, I mean, three isn't scary as it is quite just sad. I don't think you can ever be scared by your own children.
Yeah.
Word you see. So I don't think that's scary. So I would say 2, 3, and then 1.
2, 3, and then 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, hope that was a very good session for you today.
Yes. I definitely got goosebumps for 2. And then for 3, it was just like, oh, but then, oh. What about you? What's your ranking?
When ChatGPT, okay, you have to also put yourself in my shoe.
Yeah.
I put this prompt out.
Yeah.
And I read the story by itself.
Yeah.
Keep generating.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh
Were
my
you
God,
scared?
were ChatGPT able to write
Yeah.
this standard of quality of supernatural story? I gave it a prompt of, so just to be clear, I did give it a prompt that put it in some sort of a conversation or a forum and things like that. So that was the prompt I gave it to it, and that's why it came out like that. When it came out the way it did, it was really, really quite scary to read the way that it comes out. And I was like, wow, ChatGPT really can do amazing things when you give it
It's
the right
amazing.
prompt.
Yeah.
Then, obviously, with the rest of the other stories, I was immersing myself hours upon hours reading articles online, which I have definitely curated a library of real stories to begin with. I was doing this in the middle of the night.
Oh God. Why? Why, Alex?
And
you weren't scared?
It was a little bit like chilling to be reading all of this. To the point where even the third story, which is not supposed to be a scary story, it did give me the chills just reading the supernaturalness of it. So, but going back to the spooky ranking, I think the ChatGPT one took number 1 for me. Simply because of just how I can visualize myself with the doorway staring down at you and things like that.
Yes.
And then the second one is the hotel. Simply because from a hotel perspective, again, all about familiarity, all about relatability. I stay in a hotel a lot. I travel a lot. So that will also have that sense of relatability to it.
Yeah.
The kids one, as much as I say that I got chills from it, I think that's just the effect of me reading so many different articles in one sitting, in one night.
Yeah.
But from a relatability perspective, I don't relate to it.
Yeah.
So I'm putting it in number 3. But I thought it was still a very, very good story. I probably should do a little bit more of a digging into whether the Pollock family had a happy family.
Yeah. How did they resolve that? Because how do you, like, if it's at the back of your mind, right, you know that your 2 kids are either reincarnated or haunted by your deceased children, or haunted, but like they're lingering. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, it's actually quite a sad way to live. Yeah, I would love to know how they ended up and how they turned out.
Okay,
Yeah.
So, yep, I guess that's that for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for
Thank
tuning
you.
in. Thanks for all the engagement today as well. It was fun for me to be reading through, watching you react. Let me think about how you think of the new format of Two Truth and One Life, two humans and one ChatGPT
Yeah.
versus guessing them one by one.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer me today. Maybe we'll just leave that
Yeah.
to
For the next one.
for the next one.
session.
Yeah. Again, I already have a number of like.
I'm so
stories ready.
excited. You're on fire with these stories. It's getting better and better.
Yeah. It was fun. It was really,
Yeah,
really
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's it. Like, comment, subscribe to our listeners. And for the real stories, I will be linking them in
Oh,
any
yes.
descriptions that we'll
On
be
the
sending that
box,
out
yeah.
as well. Cool. That's all. Have a nice day, everyone.
All right. Take care.
Take
To
care.
the next
Bye.
one. Bye.